Game 2, Rival definitely need to step it up here, Toli. I think that Rival should not have lost by 20,000 plus. They're a much better team than that. Although, this is something that a lot of people were saying to me. I was doing my show on Tuesday, and I did predictions as well, and I said, you know, Dignitas, Rival's going to be very good. A lot of fans seem to think that this Rival squad is an offline team only. They'll stop you at LAN, but when it comes to the online split, not so hot. How you feel?
Clearly, whoever makes those predictions or sayings haven't watched Rival play at the Gauntlet, where they defeated Energy.
Wasn't that a LAN though?
That was a LAN right here.
No, that's the common thought process, that Rival's online success isn't able to match up to their LAN success.
Okay. I thought you were saying the opposite.
They're better on
Sure,
LAN.
sure. Yeah, they barely made Valencia because of their almost lackluster performance. Valen Squad almost toppled them in those standings. So yeah, Rival maybe a little bit too lax online, but then again, still the first day of the first week.
Rival this time around will be able to play Artio. More importantly, they ban out the Morrigan. I think that's a great choice against Zyrhoes. Almost all the teams do it, and Rival going to take that note. Artio and Jing selected for Rival. Camazotz, AMC for a second time today on Team Dignitas, and will await their third pick. I want to come back to that online conversation, perhaps in the game. AMC, though, for the second time today, I like this character a lot. I always have liked this character. Always have to respect his damage output. But why are we seeing him all of a sudden?
It seems that they want to get control in the lane. You put him in mid with Chronos in the dual lane, you let Arkkyl just kind of 1v1 AFK farm, and then you have Zyrhoes playing this Muzen comp. We're going to see a lot of pressure from Dignitas, and then look to invade.
I know that's the way Valen Squad played it, but Zyrhoes is a Chronos guy, man.
It's true.
I think we're going to see the opposite. I think we see AMC on Arkkyl.
But Zyrhoes is also one of the most creative players in all of Smite. He likes to play almost anything that's, you know, not the meta, not the usual or norm.
I'm going to challenge you on that. I don't think certain players go out of their way to be out of the norm. I think Zyrhoes just plays what's good, and the meta be damned.
I mean, hey, he played, what, Shibalanke jungle one time?
We don't talk about
jungle.
That one. We don't talk about that one. But I think Rival is going to do what they know is tried and true, and put iceicebaby on the Susano. iceicebaby on Circuit and Susano. These are the characters that Homie can absolutely carry on, and I think the Circuit game almost worked out, but Dignitas got off to a launch. Susano here for Ice might be a little bit better. Fafnir, Erlang for the side of Dig.
That's kind of what gave iceicebaby a lot of momentum in the competitive scene, was him playing the Susano, making a lot of plays happen. A lot of mobility on the side of Rival between the Susano and the Janus. Artio for the lockdown and the control. That went through. Dignitas not worried about Artio.
Dignitas is the type of team that doesn't get worried about these new hot picks. They remind me of a team that just sort of, they create the meta around the popular picks. Dignitas is a squad that probably has practiced letting Artio go through in scrims, and they absolutely think that they know what to do.
Look at that.
Totally, you were correct.
Zyrhoes playing the Muzen cob, and he also has the fancy robot skin there. I really like this one too.
It's a fun one. Deathwalker on the Bellona here though. Talking about iceicebaby being put on the map by his Susano and all the momentum. Deathwalker, this was what we know him as Gebwalker and Ares Walker and Opwashman. But originally, it was Bellona. It was the return to Bellona after so many solo laners had abandoned her. Deathwalker came through with a new build and wrecked everybody with the Bellona. Team Rival going all the way back to the basics.
Very important stun there, actually. I think that Trixtank, or I'm sorry, no, he didn't use his any abilities there. It actually got stunned out. But the Bellona pick for Deathwalker is so important against Dignitas because of those two hunter picks. You got the physical one in mid for Zyrhoes on the Muzen comp, and then the magical one for Arkkyl. The Scourge, disarming those two in the late game for about, what is it, 2 seconds or so, is going to change the tide for Rival.
QvoFred taking a lot of damage here. Zyrhoes pushing up despite the fact that his junglers kind of getting wrecked. And they'll be aggressive here. I don't know if this is the right choice.
It's definitely a bait because any physical hunter will just do more damage in the in-hands than the mid-mage. So you want to take these early level 1 trades.
And that was exactly what you said. Deathwalker getting the gremlins by himself, and mid-harpers on the right side will go to Team Dignitas.
Surprised Deathwalker was pulling that even closer to Dignitas. If he knew they were doing those, I think he wanted to maybe reset it a little bit earlier. He needs to connect on the Scourge. Did he last hit it, though?
He did! Deathwalker with the cute hot plays coming around the corner and just whap with the whip. taking away the speed buff from QvoFred.
That's so important to be able to do that. He's going to miss probably a little bit of gold under his own tier 1 tower, but that is so worth it. Stripping away the mobility from QvoFred, now he can't ping pong between solo and mid the way he would want to normally, and now his whole flow, the rest of this game might be just off whack.
Yeah, it's those small plays, man. I love casting with you because the solo laner mentality is you guys understand the minutia of the game so importantly. That one speed buff, like you said, it can have big implications. Specifically, I'm looking at the Zyrhoes player. He's stuck here on the Muzen Cobb, one of the more unsafe hunters, which, sure, compared to mages, most mages are unsafe as well, but Muzen Cobb doesn't have the objective secure the way most traditional mages do. So QvoFred is going to want to be able to hold hands there when it comes to the mid-harpies and the oracles and the elementals, but he also needs to help everybody else.
It's very true. He'll win a lot of team fights as long as he's accurate with that stinger and can find the timing to pick it back up. It has a lot of scaling, 110% to be exact, and an 80% cooldown reduction once you pick it up. So you could spam it about every 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah, and that becomes a scary ability. And really what it comes down to when playing the Muzen Cobb is the location of those hives. You heard Hindu Man and Taco talking about it earlier when we were watching Valen Squad, and the ability for a good, the difference between a good and a great Muzen Cobb is how much you're able to sort of create this network of your hives, because they'll overlap and you'll be able to, the movement speed after a couple of ranks of those hives, which theoretically most AMCs rank at second, is so big. You're moving so much faster in those hives, noticeably so.
Including the attack speed. A lot of players will actually max out the hive second. You want to max out your second ability just for the lane clear. Sometimes you might even leave it at level 4, depending on how much physical power you've got at that point. You don't really need that 5th point to clear, especially if you're going to be with your jungler anyway, as a mid Muzen Cobb.
Right.
So you could start getting those hives a little faster, so maybe you can go for a level 11 Gold Fury play.
Man, it's still the fact that we still see the AMC in the mid lane is so interesting to me. I feel like the Chronos is just a better fit. Why do you think the AMC is a selection, not just for Dig, but also for Valence earlier on in the mid lane?
I believe that they would rather have Arkkyl just AFK farm, maybe look to build stacks. If he wants to go for Warlock Sash, he easily could get some of that health and be left alone. That's something that a lot of these European hunter versus hunters have been known to do, is just to be left alone to 1v1.
Well, there's a Janus ultimate coming out from the middle lane, curiously.
Maybe they thought Dignitas were looking to play aggressive, so that was just a precautionary ultimate.
I don't know what for.
Is that red buff on the ground? Was that stolen?
By the,
or did no one just pick it up?
I don't think anybody picked
Rival?
it up.
Wow.
Nobody from Dignitas was in the area, so it just wasn't selected. Well, it just wasn't picked up. Another invade on the speed buff side from Team Rival. However, QvoFred comes up with his hands full, so a little bit change from the first time around. But, you know, I like that Janus play here. An ult not used is an ult wasted in a certain line of thinking, right? And so just fire it out there, see what's going on. Now, Janus can't get in trouble for the next minute or so, but it's been such a low action early game that Wlfy's not going to run into any problems, I don't think, anytime soon.
What was curious is the direction that he threw that ultimate. It landed towards the dual lane, a little bit behind the Gold Fury, where there was no action at all.
I think it was the idea he wanted to see if there were players coming up looking for that red buff, right? Then everybody would have been able to counter the invade very strongly. Either way, not going to be the case. Scoreless here in 5 minutes. And Team Dignitas, Team Rival. Trixtank might get a little bit of trouble here as he's by himself, stunning Deathwalker for the proc on his booties there.
Trying to get that 30 gold, successfully able to do so. Wasn't able to steal away the elementals, but that wasn't his full primary goal. As long as he can still delay even the clear, that's a small marginal win for Trixtank.
Now he's in a little bit of trouble as College comes up in the bear.
Gotta respect the bear.
Artio is an interesting character. We saw a Maniac player in the solo lane very strongly as a support character. What are you looking for here, Tully?
You're looking for a lot of MP5 on Artio. Genji's guard is ideal. You're trying to spam your abilities, and also once you get a couple of points into your ultimate, as you use abilities, you also get more and more MP5, and the way the passive works is when you use the abilities, you're shredding protection against the enemy.
That's, I think, one of the more important parts when you're playing in the Guardian role, and why we see Kalas select her. Kalas likes these aggressive Guardians, and Protection Shred is certainly something Kalas is interested in. QvoFred playing up here as Deathwalker sort of gets harassed by Variety. Underneath his own tower, QvoFred here ready to counteract the flank Chimera from Rival or create one of his own. But with QvoFred distracted by the middle laner, you're going to see iceicebaby come and join this solo lane fight.
Not the easiest thing in the world to pick off an Erlang Shen, but the ultimate not available. Not looking to put pressure on that solo lane too much as Deathwalker's going to back off. He was in the red. Looking at some of the builds though, iceicebaby going for a very interesting mask. Some players have been experimenting with this in ranked, considering how much action there is in the mid game, but so far this game has been very quiet.
So far, but I mean this game I think is a powder keg, totally. We've even seen Rangda's mask be talked about in the support position. Polar Bear Mike over in North America has this as one of his alternative strategies as a support build. Rangda's mask offers so much by way of catapulting you through the mid game. Basically, if you're able to get a couple of kills, you get additional penetration and cooldown reduction. And on a god like Susano, certainly somebody that can A, make it happen, and B, make use of it.
You also get a little bit of movement speed per stack. You're trying to get a little bit of momentum there. iceicebaby getting stunned out.
Oh, and he's trying to force that mask right away. Zyrhoes gets punched down by Kalas. Fight started by iceicebaby. Stack one of the mask, man.
Beautiful cripple coming out of Kalas, preventing the jump from Trixtank. Wlfy forced to retreat onto that tier 1 tower. Arkkyl not in time to make an impact in this rotation, but he pokes out Vote.
Vote trying to make the rotation, but gets caught out. I think one of the things I like watching about Artio is that the cripple has to come up close and personal, right? With Ares from a distance, you can fire those chains and keep QvoFred sort of leashed down. Artio has to get right up in your face and accept those basic attacks in order to go ahead and cause that cripple.
But when Trixtank is transforming into that dragon, he's stationary, giving enough time for Kalas to get in melee range to prevent that secondary jump, which is also why Wlfy went for the Janus. Whenever the transformation happens, you drop a portal on the dragon's feet. He's going to go through the portal. A lot of follow-up damage to follow.
It's wonderful, wonderful setup coming up for the guys for Team Rival. First blood already. And like we mentioned, that Rangda's mask, got to keep an eye on that.
Already 1 stack. All he needs is 9 more to complete the full quest to get that extra boost of penetration.
I like the way you phrase that. It's a quest, right? Because when you look at stacking items, it's kind of a chore. It's okay, I've got these items, and I can just kind of kill a bunch of minions and, you know, maybe someday I'll get my Warlock sash, right? Well, here with the Rangda's mask, they're kills. They're so much more difficult. It truly is a task to get these, because unlike the Urchin, this item can get outclassed by time. You got to get these stacks early and often in order to make it worthwhile.
The Rival are trying to get these kills early and often. Kalas is leading the charge. Janus portals through there, but it's up to Zyrhoes to survive.
Beautiful play coming out for the guys on Team Rival. This is the Rival that we're used to. iceicebaby gets another kill after his 2 assists earlier on, dragging back the mid support. But then Trix jumps way back. QvoFred and Zyrhoes fall down to no one in particular. Team Rival, and that's Team Rival's style, is all 4 players collapse. Kalas might be in trouble here, totally nice taunt, but he's out of there with the bear charge.
He's going to dash away. Arkkyl is going to force to rewind. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, but Wlfy missing that unstable vortex, allowing Kalas to actually get those left side. Oh no, they were still down here. I thought he was probably thinking about going back in after the fact, still being useful with his long-range third ability.
Crazy stuff, and as I said before that fight started to come out, this is the Team Rival that I think more fans are familiar with. Is that game number 1 was Team Dignitas, QvoFred starting Variety, and individuals getting picked off individually. 4-man team fight collapse style, that's Team Rival.
Especially when you have through space and time, up and down on Deathwalker. Kalas was right there, but it seems that Dignitas doesn't want to overextend. There's no mana for Trix.
Talk about conditioning your opponent, right? Team Rival have gotten 3 kills with the entire team, right? 4 players collapsing on everybody. Deathwalker's by himself. Kalas is there late But Deathwalker is by himself. He goes up and down and gets the stun. And if you notice, everybody took a second, about half a second to react. Dignitas retreat there. Nobody's coming. Nobody's there. But they've been conditioned at this point to just expect the cavalry to be behind every single corner.
Even if the cavalry weren't there, it's still more difficult to kill a Bellona in the Eagles Rally aura.
Sure. What is
getting
that, 50 protection?
More protections, more physical power for her to be able to survive a little longer, getting off multiple stand switches.
Crazy stuff here. Collis is going to be helped out by Wlfy and the squad. Zyrhoes chunked down, won't reach with the knockup, but it's all good. 1, 2, 3, 4. iceicebaby puts number 6 on his mask and number 4 on the scoreboard for his team.
These portals from Wlfy are just on point. Through space and time, clipping Zyrhoes, and then still having a portal to be able to escape the action. 4 kills for Rival, but they just now built a little bit of a lead, having 500 gold to their advantage. Dignitas still doing a great job with their farming.
Right now, Arkkyl not... Oh, he is going to go. The Book of the Dead one more time. We saw this earlier. Again, fun ball. Very similar mentalities between Dignitas and Valence Squad. Are these guys scrim partners?
It would seem that way. Their ideas and mentalities very similar here. You know, I think it's 2,400 gold. You get about 100 power.
It's expensive.
20% lifesteal, and you also get that 20% health shield after you just get the lifesteal from hitting minions, hitting gods, and that coming into battle with that 20% extra health is the difference between whether or not you get that rewind off.
Big stuff there. I like that. You know, I asked the question earlier because doing the math in a typical mage build, right? You're gaining basically your shield as a percentage of your HP pool. You're gaining about 200 or 300 HP. How much of an impact is that?
In the late game is a difference of 1 non-crit hit from a hunter or 1 ability from a Bellona, like, you know, bludgeon.
And in the late game, that is just enough breathing room. It's all you need. Again, talking about the minutia of the game. 1 hit here, 1 hit there. That's what changes the course of a team fight, especially when you're a Chronos. A Chronos with the time stop the size of a lane, that's a big deal.
Whenever your reaction is just so on point for these players that play in the SPL or even high-ranked players, you can react to a lot of abilities in general and know the timing window that you have for rewind. So now you have more of a timing window to be able to go for some uncalculated damage. For example, Wlfy with these through space and times and unstable vortexes.
Wlfy going an interesting course of action as well. Again, blink, blink as the 2 junglers blink on and away from each other. Zyrhoes gets deleted as Wlfy takes him out before he can even move. Trouble right there for the Bumblebee. iceicebaby on the escape as Trixtank and Variety try to collapse in the middle lane. But look at the cripple, keeping Variety in one spot, keeping the animals down.
Still getting the heal from that ultimate, trying to retreat under their own tier 1 tower. Rival were able to thwart the offensive efforts from Dignitas, still killing Zyrhoes. That's been the reoccurring theme here. Now finally hitting level 12, has the ability to pick up that 2nd relic for Aegis.
Right side of the map, a little bit covered by Team Rival. We're going to be discussing and looking for the portal demon here. Wraparound from Variety is very real. The Erlang shadows to be controlled, and QvoFred from the front side as well. Half HP on the objective, and now Team Rival going to fall and look towards Variety. The cripple is stunned out by the support Fafnir. That's how you handle that situation. You need somebody to peel. When Artio's in her dash, she's at her most vulnerable. Take her out right then and there, and with her backing Tully, this opens the door for the demon.
5 members from Dignitas are here. They're trying to confirm this down. Vote trying to last it and not successfully able to do so, as Variety and Deathwalker go back to their lane. So Dignitas with a slight advantage now with that portal demon, basically tying the game gold-wise.
Yeah, that's a very important objective for Team Dignitas. Down 5 kills at the 15-minute mark, but not a care in the world that they're able to tie up the gold because of that objective, as you called it. And going to Artio, I know a lot of, you know, she seems unbeatable at times, but that's how you do it.
Surprising Gold Fury from Rival, though. This is something that they've been known to do, just to surprise their opposition. Zyrhoes caught in a very awkward position, being left alone. Gold Fury very low, secured by Rival.
And now the fight.
Nope.
Nope. No fight.
A little anticlimactic there, but good performance from Rival. They get the Gold Fury, and they force the double relics from Zyrhoes. And Zyrhoes has been the focus point from Rival this whole game.
He's an AMC.
4 out of the 5 deaths have been his doing. And like you mentioned before, he's in a Muzen comp. However, it's going to get a little bit better as time progresses.
So
he'll get the hives at a higher level for the movement speed. He already has double gloves fully stacked. Now he's going to go for a Hide of Urchin to be able to get more defenses, more health.
So for me, the comment he's an AMC is less about he's easy to, is less about like this character's bad. Of course he's dead, and more about he doesn't have many escapes. So of course he's going to be the target. Now, how many times do you execute that? Well, that's up to Team Rival, and you know that's what they've been doing so far. But Team Rival again showing the good side of things. The way they get that Gold Fury, more importantly, the way they leave, right? Looked like there could have been a fight, and that fight would have gone poorly for Team Rival because of the way their HP looked like. They knew as a unit they had to just bail, and they take the lead back again, about 1,500 in their favor.
Very easy to reposition for Rival with that threshold from Wlfy. He's just all over the place. Not only is he getting these offensive through space and times that are either hitting Zyrhoes really well or are positioning the rest of his team to hit Zyrhoes.
QvoFred in so much trouble, has to go to the ultimate because he can't go to the jump. Thanks to the cripple field out of Artio.
He almost connected that. QvoFred landed after through space and time already landed.
DW off the back end finds the Scourge and the jump. QvoFred falls down, while the rest of Team Rival covers his option on the front side. 5 players in purple now looking to the mid lane. Gets jumped on by Trixtank.
Trixtank finds the stun. Nice
Big
double
knock
knock-up. Arkkyl going to take out Callus. So far, it's going to be a 4-on-4. QvoFred still trying to revive here, as well as Callus, but the chase still remains. Deathwalker going to take a spill. 3-on-4. Dignitas could easily secure this tier 1 tower.
This is what happens when you give Dignitas an inch. They take 3 miles. There was just a brief window of opportunity, and you called, I think it was Variety that found the multi-man knockup.
Very important.
And then everything died.
It's very difficult sometimes as an Erlang Shen to pick the right timing to use that turtle knockup because of how important the Mink is just to chase people down without having that slow movement speed penalty. You have a Fatalis effect after using the Mink. Whether or not you hit a minion or a god, having the horrific emblem makes it a little bit easier to chase down, so you don't necessarily need to use the Mink all the time. Perfect decision making by Variety.
Wonderful play. And as we said, Team Rival's gold tier brought them back into the game. Well, that play brings Dignitas back in. Down 500 gold in almost 19 minutes. I don't think 500 really matters here, Tully.
A lot of a different story here shifted between game 1 and 2. Dignitas, at this point in the game, in game 1, were up about 6,000 to 8,000 gold or so.
So here's my question. The Rangers mask looked like it was going to pay off. He's got 7 stacks. You get 2 stacks for a kill, 1 stack for an assist. It looked like it was going to pay off. At what point is it just too late?
Once you got your 4th item complete, that's when it's starting to fall off. 15 penetration is not too shabby, but you don't really get that power that you need, or, you know, much of anything else. Movement speed, cooldown reduction, 15 penetration can be easily substituted for a completed 5th item.
Right now, Callus in trouble here, can be transformed on by the support, and Callus gonna fall down, takes to the jump and the dot from Arkkyl. Callus taken out for free basically there.
Thought Variety was about to commit to that chase, getting pulled back in. Gonna use the ultimate to get some health return to him. Trixtank getting caught in a weird position, gonna juke out that portal. A nice clean pick from Dignitas, just taking out Callus.
And as you mentioned, going back to iceicebaby one last time with his Rangers mask, it looks like it's kind of too late already. You wanted this mask to transform probably about 4 to 5 minutes ago, around that 15-minute mark that really leads you through and pushes you through the mid-game. Again, this is a risky strategy, and knowing the way Team Rival came into this one, this is a strategy that I like, Tully. It just didn't pan out.
It's a 500 gold item anyway. At the end of the day, you sell it back for 333. Like, you're losing about 167 gold at the end of the day. So you're going to be selling off Bumba's mask before Ragna's mask at the end. So not too shabby.
Trouble as everybody's looking towards the portal demon here. Yeah, we'll walk away. Not such a big deal, says Team Dignitas. Team Rival, on the other hand, clearly wants control of this area.
Callus trying to hit Variety all 5 times, connected only on 4. Once you hit with the 5th one, that is a little bit of a mini route, which could follow up with multiple abilities from his teammates. But with speed buff up, iceicebaby wants to get that mobility before attempting this Portal Demon for the 2nd time.
Look at Dignitas all spread out. You've got Arkkyl on the left side, you've got the jungler on the left side as well. Zyrhoes in the mid lane. Team Rival could just burst this one down, but it gets stolen by a one-shot and a Team Dignitas. Shout out to Variety tossing that javelin.
And recognizing this, Rival just back out. They don't want to chase down too heavily here, despite having the Janus with the threshold through space and time is available, because that Gold Fury has been started. It's Arkkyl and Zyrhoes that was chipping it away.
Not going to commit there. Team Dignitas understand. Sure, the Portal Demon, 100 gold per player. If we get it, we get it. Oh, hey, we got it. That's exactly what Dignitas is saying. Gold's Fury, however, much different story, much more valuable.
Surprised Callus didn't stop the back from Trixtank. He was sitting at about 60% health there, and not only did he not stop the back, they're not pulling the Gold Fury with a 5-on-4 advantage. Now, Portal Demon is up, or the portal for after the Portal Demon is up for Dignitas to take. So Trixtank would have came back to the action relatively quickly anyway. We could have seen more aggression from Rival just to take advantage of the disparity between the health and mana pools.
Sure, at the same time, it's an even game, and I think that making that play on the Gold Fury might have been a gamble.
Oh. Thought that was a solo kill at first, but then I look back at the mini-map. Through space and time was used. 3 people hovering over Arkkyl. That Book of the Dead didn't really pay off there. Purification and Aegis wasn't expended.
Just too many players. And now with that window open, now this Gold Fury is not a gamble. 2nd Gold Fury of the game going to Team Rival. And that's an even 2,000 gold lead for the red squad. Pushing forward through the portal. There's the pullback. Trixtank in trouble. Can't jump away. Deathwalker going to stun him as well. Forcing the ultimate. Zyrhoes making the flank from the right-hand side. Looking for the basics out of that Muzen cob. And just can't find a target. QvoFred making the offensive team retreat. Wonderful ultimate from the Batman.
Just thinking about chasing and diving that down. Everyone from Rival a little bit low. Trixtank very low. Thinking about backing quite yet. Arkkyl has officially respawned now, but he's not here to defend this tier 1 tower.
Team Rival, Wlfy and iceice are relatively low. They got to be careful. That's why they're all the way in the back. Variety trying to gain targets, but can't. Again, Wlfy trying to play it extra safe, and Team Rival do some damage, but they know that they can't get any more safely, and so they're on the retreat.
Variety looking for a potential route. He used his Ming form, but everyone from Rival is very fast once they went over that threshold. Being very low, however, they can't all back to allow Dignitas to maybe go for an early Fire Giant.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, totally.
Could happen here, Tom. They're not looking to pull the trigger quite yet. Instead, they're going to get those right side mid-harpies, get the blue buff instead, play it very safe.
I just don't think they have the damage to burst it down before Rival comes back.
If Arkkyl and Zyrhoes were there, especially with Variety popping as one, using that Mink form, he gets a lot of attack speed, a lot of extra damage with that steroid, but it's actually Rival that's going to pull the trigger on this Fire Giant first, and Dignitas, they do spot it. Zyrhoes is right here.
Variety from around the right side is going to have to be handled, but he's handling Wlfy. Fire Giant 75% leashed out. Callus now the target of Arkkyl and Trixtank. Very low is the Rival support, and he's going to have to find an exit, and it might come by way of the mid laner, and it will. The ultimate from Wlfy, giving an exit to Team Rival.
Through space and time, hitting 2 members in the back here for Dignitas. Zyrhoes very low. Arkkyl was forced to rewind after that one. iceicebaby, he's going to get his own speedboat. Took a lot of damage. He's forced to win Siphon out of there. Vote uses his ultimate. Arkkyl still going to chase down a little bit further as it's Deathwalker trying to retreat. Uses that Eagles Rally under that tier 2 tower, and it's Dignitas with the small win could pull this Fire Giant.
They absolutely will. Zyrhoes has the lifesteal to heal himself up. Everybody else except for QvoFred is pretty healthy, and guess who else has lifesteal? QvoFred. Team Rival have to defend this Fire Giant down to about a quarter of HP, and you see the peel from Team Dignitas looking for the fight. Zyrhoes knocked up on the back end. Wlfy trying to deal with everybody else. Portals himself and gets out clean. Trixtank low. Zyrhoes half. Arkkyl half. Team Rival pushing forward. They're a little bit more healthy than their opponent.
Zyrhoes with very little to no mana whatsoever. He's basically useless in this encounter. Rival and Dignitas are just going back and forth around this objective, understanding how valuable it is. Whoever gets this next Fire Giant could easily open the rest of the game. All these towers could easily start crumbling down.
Very scary prospect for either team. Rival really don't want to start the season off with 2 losses against a squad that they just barely got beat out with. Don't forget, 5-game set. in a 5-game series at Summer Finals. Team Rival eke it out in 2 elimination games. They find the victory and lose just barely in game number 5. And they don't want to start the season losing to the same dudes.
Rival always have this mentality and this attitude of like they don't get phased by losses at all, because at Summer DreamHack Valencia they lost the first 2, then proceeded to win the next 2, and then game 5 was just epic, and Rival just never stop when even if went behind.
It certainly has to do with their attitude, Tully. These guys, big friends, they enjoy the game to a different extent, and I think that's what allows them to have that quarterback memory, so to speak. Collis brought down about half HP, forced out the shell. Keep an eye on QvoFred making the flank from the left side. Wlfy doesn't know. Wlfy doesn't know. He's going to get jumped on. Beautiful attack. Trixtank gets Wlfy. QvoFred strikes him down before he walks through the portal. What an important flank. Wlfy has been able to transport his team through different parts of the map, specifically around this rockful side near the fire giant. FG half HP.
No relics available for Wlfy to fall or to rescue himself that time. iceicebaby took an early spill, trying to be aggressive. Deathwalker trying to get past this front line here from Dignitas, using the up and down with Vote right to follow up.
But making sure that the bludgeon doesn't deal the damage is Fafnir. Great play by Trixtank to stun out the solo laner. Deathwalker won't get the damage. Dignitas take out the fire giant. Portal Demon just for a cherry on top. And now Team Dignitas find themselves up a sliver of gold, about 2,000. But more importantly, the fire giant that will allow them to bust this one open. 500 in the pocket for that tier 1 tower. And there's still 4 towers remaining, 3 of which give 1,500 gold.
A little over 27.5 minutes in. Gold Fury's available, and Zyrhoes is looking to start and finish that one up. He has the life steal, he has the highs for the attack speed. He's actually going to back off. He just secured the oracles. He's going to get the left side mids instead, really not wanting to overextend with the rest of his team being on the right side of the map. That's the mentality of a veteran player.
Very deep into this one. Team Dignitas not as significantly ahead as they were in game number 1. This game at this point there was no chance for Rival. However, right now, Tully, I think Team Rival are they're just as much in it. All they have to do right now is play defense, let the fire giant wear off, and then they're in a position to just take it as they have been.
The strategy that Rival did in the beginning of the game where they focused out Zyrhoes is not going to work for them any longer, unfortunately. The Height of the Urchin is available with 2 stacks. You're sitting at about 41 protections on both with that extra 250 health. The mobility from those hives is going to be so impactful and clearly felt. So even if you threshold all of your team, if you're going to try to kill the Muzen comp, you're going to have to throw almost every ability.
Look at what he's able to do to these towers as well. You see Arkkyl in the mid lane trying to play defense. Meanwhile, the split push coming out from the Muzen comp on the left-hand side, just decimating the towers, forcing Rival to back. Collins falls down to QvoFred over here in the mid lane. The left Phoenix is going to be attacked by the Muzen comp, but he sees the writing on the wall. iceicebaby with a nice split push. This is very strategic from Team Rival. They're getting their wins while avoiding the fight because they know they can't take the Fire Giant team.
Something that Energy used to do all the time when they would play Apollo-Thor combinations is whenever they fail behind, they use this global presence. But instead of global presence, Rival are using mobility. Susano can go in and out of action very quickly and easily while the rest of his teammates are trying to defend this Phoenix. It's not that easy for Dignitas to try to siege these Phoenixes.
They have the Fire Giant for a little bit longer, but they're going to look for that right side tower. That's pretty much all they're going to be able to get.
They still don't have those 6 completed items out of Dignitas, with the exception currently of Variety having some cheap bridge items. You have your Wing Blade, you have your Gladiator Shield, very affordable items to get off all 6 slots. But more importantly, QvoFred not finishing off either that stone cutting or the Masamune, and hasn't sold off that bluestone pendant.
Ultimate out of the Janus, looking to find players unawares. It's going to be Zyrhoes who activates that Aegis, but iceicebaby takes down Arkkyl before he finds himself in the ultimate. QvoFred half HP already, using his ultimate as well. Shell, sprint, everything popped by Team Dignitas to escape the fire that Rivals bringing to them right up close and personal.
QvoFred forced to purify away, threshold being used just to get closer. Beautiful body block. Beautiful cripple. 2 picks from Rival with that sneaky play from Wlfy through space and time.
A wonderful assessment by Team Rival to identify when and where Team Dignitas was just a little bit off the mark. Collis half HP dealing with variety and Trixtank dealing the damage. Everybody else focused on the tower. Wonderful attention to the objective, and Rival pick up the tier 2. The second
Wlfy.
Dignitas presented themselves as split up, that's where the Janus came
Wlfy
through.
needs to be careful here, though. Threshold has been used. He gets rooted into place. He does have 2 relics, so he's not too worried here. His ultimate's not up yet, but yet again, Rival's trick is that ultimate from Wlfy.
That was exactly what they needed to do. They identified when Team Dignitas was split up. The moment they were split up, Wlfy comes through, and everybody goes through the portal. Interesting to note the nice angle as well.
That was a nice angle. Dignitas did spot it out, and they communicated that to their backline, but by the time that through space and time hit, it was a little too late. Arkkyl didn't have the time or the reaction to use either relic, either of his ultimate, and he took the spill for the first time.
I mean, all of a sudden, 5 guys in enemy jerseys come out of the wall, and they just kill you. Poor Arkkyl. Arkkyl was dead. Arkkyl was dead. Qvo was half HP with no ultimate and no Aegis, and Zyrhoes had used his Aegis already as well at that point in time, before Dignitas could say boo. That's what happened. That attention, and that's what we're talking about when we see the team cohesion of Rival.
What's more impressive about Rival successfully doing that was that Dignitas were the ones with Fire Giant.
Yeah, exactly.
They caught them off guard. The Fire Giant regen is important, but not if the team fight is literally only 5 to 10 seconds long.
And you get extra power and all this stuff. I mentioned before, Team Rival can't fight directly into the Fire Giant simply because you're just better. You're stronger. That's why as soon as they were split up, we could take 5-on-2. Yeah, we could take 5-on-2. 5-on-5, I don't know about that. We'll split push. 5-on-2, 5-on-3, call me up, baby. That's exactly what Team Rival did. Dignitas started the Portal Demon.
And that's why it's so important. Whenever you find a pick, do something with the pick. And there's so many games in general. Callisto getting knocked up in a little bit of trouble here. Goes in the bear form.
Going to keep the bear down. He's walked out on the right-hand side, followed up, and QvoFred takes down the support. Trixtank, though, could be in equal trouble as he's about 1/4 of HP. Wlfy trying to find him with the unstable, but it's Arkkyl that finds Vote with all of the Chronos damage. 5 players still alive for Team Dignitas, and they're going to push forward looking for the Fire Giant.
Very unfortunate deaths from Vote and Callis during the respawn of this Fire Giant, securing the Portal Demon. Dignitas doing a great job there, but Callis overextending. It's not really worth the life here, especially 33 minutes into the game, just for a Portal Demon. Now, if it's a Fire Giant, that's a different story.
Yeah. Portal Demon again, gives you control over the map, sure, but the golden experience it hands you is very low.
But I was talking about earlier, that 5-on-2 that you mentioned before. In so many ranked games or your casual games, I see time in and time out how people can be a little bit hesitant or a little bit scared to make plays happen when it's 5-on-4, when there's clearly someone dead. If that play doesn't open people's minds in games, they're like, hey, you should take some of these advantages, then go for it.
Wlfy is alive for the moment.
Now, split pushing is a different story. Be a little bit more careful about that.
He gets the tower. You guys should see Tolly's face right
I was thinking of something to say, but I just have nothing to say for that. Like, not worth. Not worth
whatsoever.
Tier 1 tower in dual lane for, what was it? It was a 60-second respawn for through space and time Janus that's been so successful at it.
Yeah, that one kind of hurts. That one kind of hurts. I wouldn't mind if Janus had the ultimate available, but he didn't. And then he walks right into the clutches of the enemy.
There are some calculated risks over here.
Callis goes down! Not a risk you can take! Why is he pushed up? If you fall back, there's a thing that shoots the enemy called the Phoenix. Fight on the flag! That one hurts again. Another misstep by Team Rival. 2 in a row means 2 deaths and a left Phoenix for Team Dignitas.
And iceicebaby got spotted by Zyrhoes. Took more damage than he wanted to. Great awareness from Dignitas in Zyrhoes to be able to spot out the jungle rotation from Rival, not allowing any split push shenanigans. They stopped Wlfy. They stopped iceicebaby. They're rewarded with 1 Phoenix, and now Trixtank goes in trying to secure the second.
Minions come through, and the mid Phoenix goes down just as quickly. Here comes the knockup and the ultimate, but not going to be good enough. And Trixtank takes Takes a big hit, but he's going to be okay.
Still having Fire Giant for another 2 minutes. He has the regen available. He can easily throw the hammer from a distance. He gets the shell off to be able to jump away, and he's just baiting.
Ice followed him right to his own death. Trading Ice for the support. I don't know about that, Tully.
It's a little risky. If Deathwalker survives, then it might be worth it here. Forces the ultimate from Arkkyl. Zyrhoes is forced to use the purification beads. Callus doesn't want this to end quite yet, but finding more knockups. Callus avoiding the Chronos time stop. So important. 1 for 1. This stops the right side tier 2 tower siege for the moment.
For the moment, maybe. I mean, it's going to send a couple of players home, and I think we're just going to see them heal up, respawn, and come back and take the tier 2 tower.
Well, Fire Giant still available for Dignitas for 55 or 65 seconds. Still enough time to get this tier 2 tower, but it's not enough time to successfully get the right and last Phoenix.
Team Dignitas looked like they were going to slow roll it, pump the brakes, not really look for that tier 2 tower. 36 minutes on the clock here. Neck and neck as far as the gold is concerned, 11 to 10, or excuse me, kills are concerned, 11 to 10. The gold, honestly, pretty close as well. Only 7,000 gold separates our two teams, and at this point in the game, the gold becomes less and less relevant. QvoFred and his squad have been able to run game number 1, game number 2 a little bit closer. Rival have been able to stay relevant by way of sneaking objectives and being very tactical with their team fights. Up until this point, it's been anybody's game. And right now, with the Fire Giant falling off a dig very soon, it's one more time anybody's game.
It is too close to really call. Even with 2 Phoenixes down for Rival, 80,000 collective gold for Rival means that you're basically having 6 slots for every single player, and it's all even. The very most important thing here for both these teams is positioning. Nobody can get caught in a very awkward spot. Wlfy is clearing out the mid fire minions and successfully able to do so as the left side gets pushed out as well.
Yeah, getting caught out is what led Rival to lose those 2 Phoenixes. Wlfy split push Janus without an ultimate. Very curious decision. And then Callus walks 2-3 steps past his Phoenix and just gets obliterated. This late game Team Dignitas squad, look at the damage they're able to output. If you get stunned, you are just dead. That's a problem at this point in the game for Team Rival and something they have to be aware of.
Late game Muzen, late game Chronos, and not to mention, we haven't even talked about this point, but Trixtank with the Coerce, the attack speed boost modifier. If Zyrhoes wanted to, he could actually sell that Odysseus bow and go for more penetration, maybe an Executioner instead, and then rely on that Coerce attack speed boost.
He also has a Shogun's Kusari, Deathwalker. Ouch. Look at the damage that Muzen able to do. Big knockup, however, and Wlfy able to capitalize. Taking down Zyrhoes, a big part of what makes Team Dignitas so scary. QvoFred taking a lot of damage, forces the ultimate as well. And left side variety will exit because Team Rival collapsed on him efficiently. Trixtank pulled, but caught by the edge of the rock, so not able to get stunned out. Ice-Ice-Baby teleports to him, and the sprint from Variety to help out his support.
Threshold, though, from Wlfy maybe could allow Rival to keep pressing on. Zyrhoes still dead for 40 seconds. Dignitas are aware of this. They don't want to concede this Fire Giant as it's respawn. They got the first 2. Rival could get the 3rd one, though.
There's that Coerce on Arkkyl. He's looking for a fight. Left side, QvoFred looking for a flank. And Arkkyl just letting people know he's here. Big knockup on the DW. Variety able to get out of there. No problem. Deathwalker has the back.
Dignitas are playing aggressive because they recognize Wlfy has to defend the left side. There were fire minions trickling down that lane and not wanting to lose the Phoenix for the 2nd time. Very important rotation. Somebody from Rival had to defend it. They done so, but they couldn't take advantage of Zyrhoes' death respawn timer. Fire Giant still stands strong.
They weren't able to, they weren't able to take advantage of Zyrhoes' respawn timer by way of gaining something new, but the protection of the 2 Phoenixes. This is as tie of the game as you're going to get now.
They stabilize for the moment. Fire Giant being pulled by Dignitas. They're trying to control the vision around. They spot out Callus. They miss out the root, but the taunt will pull Callus a little closer.
Half HP, but here's Deathwalker from the right side. Let's be careful. He's by himself. Variety used his ultimate. That taunt, more importantly, that heal, down for the count.
The damage has been done. Callus sitting at half health. That alone could...
He's got heals.
It's a 4.5 versus 5 at the moment.
That said, Collis has heals. He's going to be able to heal himself up more efficiently than Variety.
Sure, but it's just not that strong. Look, he used 2 of them already, and he's still sitting at about 55 to 60%.
He's going back. Trixtank sees it. He's baiting the back. Vote takes a stun. Dignitas pushing way up. I'd like to see Arkkyl and Zyrhoes start the engagement, but instead it's iceicebaby starting the fight, pulling 2 players towards him. Arkkyl and Zyrhoes could go to the fire
They
giant.
could easily try to go for something here, but it seems that the vision is just enough for Rival to not buy the bluff. Variety having his ultimate back available.
Collis in trouble, knocked up and stunned. He's just barely going to get out of there. Dot's not good enough. They have to dive him, and it's Trixtank that finds the kill.
Wlfy used that through space and time to dissect the team fight, but not clipping anyone from Dignitas the way he's done previously in the game. Now with a 5-on-4 advantage, Dignitas pulls the Fire Giant.
Variety trying to zone out with Trixtank. 25% of the Fire Giant. Nobody from Team Rival can get in. Here comes Deathwalker looking for the bludgeon. Can't find it. Does. Fire Giant goes the way of Team Dignitas, but iceicebaby bites down and takes out QvoFred.
Arkkyl chasing down Deathwalker on the top right side. Zyrhoes trying to chase down iceicebaby in the bottom. So far, Deathwalker taking another spill, so that's going to be 2 for 1. Dignitas, at the end of the day, gets the Fire Giant and is able to just still chase down. Vote is very low.
3 players with Fire Giant. Variety just barely missing it, and QvoFred dying as well. Variety now taking damage from Wlfy, but Wlfy taking damage from Variety. Vote's here, the Hunter dealing damage. Trixtank jumps in and puts Wlfy in the ground with a big old hammer.
So rare to see a level 20 Fafnir confirm a kill with a hammer, but 42 minutes into the game,
It's that Pythax
Dignitas
piece.
versus Rival, we get the best of everything.
It's the Pythax piece, I'm telling you.
The damage is real.
70 power.
You get the aura, you know, you have the 40 base power from it, and then you get the 30 extra.
Yeah, and it's
More.
pretty nuts. Pretty nuts stuff. Team Dignitas making plays here in the late game. 3 players with Fire Giant. Variety gonna lead the charge. Tank up the tower. Jumping forward is Trixtank. Stun is good on to Vote. He's gonna pop his ult. And the mid Phoenix goes down for the second time. Shift over to the left side. Coerce.
AoE Coerce is going to allow this left side Phoenix to fall very quickly as well. Still 2 dead. Deathwalker respawning, making it a 5-on-4. QvoFred wasn't there during that, so it's a 4-on-3. Very successful siege for Dignitas. They still have Fire Giant for 2.5 minutes. The right side Phoenix eluded them during the first 2 tries, but now it's lucky number 3.
2.5 minutes is an eternity right now. They still don't have Wlfy up. He's down for 5 more seconds. Should be coming up relatively soon. But look at what Team Dignitas has been able to do so far, Wlfy. I think this is the opportunity for the Black and Yellow to close this one out.
Seems that way. QvoFred securing the speed buff. He might look to siege this mid as well. Maybe try to get some fire minions to slowly chip away at the Titan, forcing Rival to overextend on the right side. If you can get somebody committed to mid, then you can have a 4-on-4 on right. You got to get the right matchups for Dignitas to get this Phoenix cleanly.
Trixtank looking for somebody to step out on the left side of the Phoenix incorrectly. Or maybe even catch somebody looking for a flank of their own. Deathwalker and Collis here leading the charge, looking for the minions.
Having a lot of attack speed is Zyrhoes, just hovering around that Phoenix line with Variety in pursuit. Followed up with a stun onto Callis. Not too much follow-up damage. Phoenix not really getting focus fire because they're baiting out Rival.
Big damage coming out. Team Rival looking for the initiation. Jump forward and the Wlfy ultimate brings Trixtank down to half HP. Arkkyl even lower all the way on the backside, but it's all about the left-handed. Zyrhoes taking down iceicebaby. Now Rival on the front foot looking for the offensive. Zyrhoes half HP. Down comes the hammer and Zyrhoes goes down to the hand of Vote. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far. Big knockups from Variety, but everybody's still healthy.
The left side, though, there's a fire minion wave in that Titan room. The longer it stays there, the more damage that Titan will take. Variety is not done yet. He knocks up Callis. He uses the ult, trying to pin him down a little bit more.
Arkkyl, Wlfy, couple of basics and he's down. I thought this was going to be a retreat from Team Dignitas. Instead, it's a resurgence. Looking for the Phoenix one more time. Coerce helps out Cuba and Arkkyl. And they're not done, Toli. They're not done at all.
No, not at all. That Titan sitting at 60 to 70% health. 4 Dignitas members, 3 Rival. Make that 2 as Vote falls to Cubo.
That's game.
Dignitas looks like they're getting a 2-0 sweep.
Great play coming out from Dignitas here, and honestly got to give a shout out to Rival as well in game number 2. Looked like Rival needs to be woken up a little bit, but after a little bit of a warm-up, we saw them perform in Game 2. But Team Dignitas, this is the team to beat in the fall split.
A lot of credit thrown to Rival from my perspective there. They were able to bounce back so well mentally between Games 1 and Games 2, and this is probably the most difficult opponent that they'll probably face in all of the fall split.
Yeah, all of the members on this squad looked really strong. For me, for my money, I like Zyrhoes was able to do the thing, not as impressive as the Morrigan. QvoFred was still doing it for me.
Oh, absolutely. He was just all over the place on that Camazotz. He was able to really dive successfully, making Wlfy more aware, or trying to force Wlfy to be more aware of using his portals offensively, making sure that he would always have to save at least one to get out of dodge.
And again, we were talking about Dignitas not banning Artio, playing against it. We saw exactly how they do it. It's all about the team. Artio doesn't really have many protections by way of being crowd control immune, so all of a sudden, you can get hit by the hammer, you can get hit by anything you want, and that's what Dignitas focused on, was crowd controlling the Artio.
It was very easy to lock her down because you're going Genshi's guard. You don't have necessarily a lot of physical protection, a lot of health. You're trying to spam your abilities. But with such an aggressive composition from Rival, they did find some kills with Wlfy on the Janus.
Wonderful stuff coming out from Team Dignitas. Again, this is the team to beat for the end of Season 4. Let's break it down a little bit further with Aggro in the desk.
Thank you very much, Tom and Toli. Day 1 of the Season 4 Fall Split is in the books. Europe looking strong across the board. I'm Aggro, joined by Taco here on the desk. And let's just go over this last set, Taco. Dignitas Rival, the rematch of DreamHack Valencia Finals. Dignitas find the 2-0 here, but that second game was very, very close.
That second game was a hair away from being in Rival's favor. I think it was just a little bit too late when Rival really started to come together. Vodemike was struggling somewhat on that Jing, trying to have an impact into that back line, and then by the time he was starting to have an impact, it was just already 2 Phoenixes down. Incredibly difficult to fight into that.
I mean, Arkkyl was doing so much work out of the Hunter role for Dignitas. Vote just not bringing quite enough damage through the early to mid stages on the Jing. He was below even the Fafnir for Trixtank at one point in that game. But Dignitas, they dominate Game 1. Zyrhoes looking really, really strong in that game as the Morrigan. I loved how he utilized that ultimate, changing into Terra in order to steal away the Terra ultimate that Rival had on their side. Very creative usage of the Morrigan.
I think that's one of the biggest impacts for Morrigan and the Morrigan players, so to say, is that when they can recognize what is going to benefit the team fight the most, it's not necessarily damage all the time. Sometimes you need that utility guardian or that warrior to try and be a bigger impact, and so all around, great recognition by Zyrhoes.
Well, Dignitas, you heard F.Dot say it right at the end there, the team to beat right now, at least on the European side of things. And if you're the team to beat on the European side of things, you're the team to beat. Period. Absolutely. Set number 3 on the day was Elevate versus Burrito. Elevate just crushed them Game 1. I mean, it wasn't even close. And then they lose Game 2?
And almost the same kind of fashion, except this time it was Burrito doing the manhandling of Elevate, crushing their dreams of coming out with the 2-0 split. And so in the end, it ends up being only Obey and Dignitas that walk away with their points from today.
Johnny with that Ao Kuang, I mean, should have banned Ao Kuang, right?
Why wasn't Ao Kuang banned?
Why wasn't Ao Kuang banned? Who knows? We're joking mostly, at least. Again, when you're against Johnny, there are certain players you don't want to give Ao Kuang to. Johnny's certainly one of them. Burrito, their star jungler. Let's take a look at the standings and see exactly where we sit after day number 1 of the European Fall Split. Dig and Obey, the only 2 teams to come away with 2-0 victories. The Poppies and Rival at the bottom.
But at the same time, having those splits is still going to go slightly in favor of the other teams, such as Burrito. And it's just nice considering that they have that at least 1 point in their books.
Schedule for tomorrow. Let's take a look. NA, it's their turn in order to play in the Fall Split. Trifecta up against a Mighty Storm comes up first to start off the day tomorrow. The very end, Space Station versus E-United. Zapman's return to the SPL.
It's almost like nobody knew that Zapman was going to be joining Space Station Gaming. I couldn't have called it. I don't think you could have either, Aggro, but he will be there, and we're all looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, no doubt about it. You're done with SPL for the day, but you're not done with Smite. First wins of the day. They're going to get you gems. You can play all weekend long and earn up to 150 gems. Start working towards some of those voice packs. And of course, we have to let you know, it's such a good deal. We can't get away with without saying it a couple times a day. HRX early bird tickets, 25% off. Come to HRX.
They actually sold out of these, and this is actually an extended offer because that's when
we did that?
We did sell out of these, and then we ended up extending it even further.
Why did we extend it? We, if you didn't,
Nabil wanted to give them another opportunity.
Nabil is far too kind in all regards. Thanks so much for joining us here today. The first day of the fall split of the SPL. NA starts tomorrow. Can't wait for that. Same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern, hi-rez TV. We'll see you then.